Copyright 2017 Win Your Brand. All rights reserved. This video is subject to copyright owned by Win Your Brand. Any reproduction or republication of all or part of this video is expressly prohibited, unless Win Your Brand has explicitly granted its prior written consent. All other rights reserved.
Sorry. Okay, no worries. So I would have everything.
So how was lunch? So the dangerous things about this lunch is usually we fell asleep after. So.
I took all the bread off, so I can't have it. So.
It was very good, thank you.
So what was the 3 C's we end up with?
Clarify, communicate, capitalize.
So clarify, communicate,
And capitalize.
and capitalize. Okay? So if we want to say clarify, communicate, and capitalize, this is where we stopped as 3 C's. So in practice, if you are doing a business, what are the areas where we can communicate? So if I want to consider your business, so what are the tools you have for your business in terms of communication? First of all, everybody has a business, right? Each one of you has a business, right? And each one, she doesn't have a business?
I don't.
Lucky.
You could though.
Lucky.
Yeah.
So we let everybody
Maybe
you know what?
job.
You know what? We let everybody
Yeah.
we let everybody has a business go away, and we continue now with the workshop with people who don't have business. So, what are the elements of communication inside my business? Like we talk about strengths and we talk about communicate. So how I can communicate my strengths and where? Rational to my business. So what are the communication tools you do have between your business and the world? What are the tools you have for your business?
You have social media. You have
So you have social media. What else?
you have your email or your
You have your
contact list.
you have your email. What else?
One-to-one voice.
One-to-one, yeah.
We have one-to-one voice. What else? What else do we have where we can communicate our business?
And that's it.
Our website. You have business cards, seminars.
Webinars.
You have webinars as well. You have podcast. So when a simple, I believe it's like 3 lines in a workbook will say communicate. Did you relate the communication to all of this? Did you connect the dots to understand that if I want to communicate, I have to communicate to all of this, through all of this, or not?
All of them. What about athletes? Like Google Ads?
These all are more sophisticated than these levels. So how many of you here have a website for their business? Except you. Okay. And how many social media do you have?
I have 2 Twitter accounts, a 2 Facebook accounts, 2 private Facebook groups, a public Facebook group, Pinterest, Align, LinkedIn, etc.
Sure.
I would say except for this one.
1, 2.
No Pinterest.
And no Pinterest. Wow. Wow. You are the very first one. You are the very first one to come to this event who have more than Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn. I congratulate you. However, how many
It's
face?
a pain in the ass. It really is.
They're not pain. They're not painful. Believe me, they're not
Getting
painful.
the information up there takes 5 hours a week to get proper information up and on the website and all of the platforms.
I can show you a platform where you can only send an email to your website and everything will happen on its own.
It doesn't work with WordPress.
It works with everything works with WordPress.
Hootsuite?
No. No Hootsuite, no Buffer, no third-party sharing tools. Because when yeah, go ahead.
No, I was
Okay. I'm a guy who is not in favor of using any of these third-party tools. Because when you use these third-party tools, what will happen? People will see them. That's right.
Oh, well,
And
Buffer,
then-
you can turn that off.
And then what will happen when people will see them?
When they see, if they were to see the tool,
Yes.
then they go to the tool, they don't go to your site.
Not that only, but remember we talk about we talked about this, that's right.
Mhm.
So when somebody receive a message which is shared by Hootsuite or by Buffer, and it's written there, what's the perception about this message? It's automatic robotic. What else? Not professional. It's just
It's not personal.
okay.
Yeah.
So this all are perception of when they see Hootsuite. That's right. So I don't use any of those. And when we use the new one, the what's it called? Yeah, IFTTT. It went nuts, and I got so many phone calls because the new guy is doing this social media for me. He missed something. Any of these tools has the people receive from it that you are not sitting there sharing the information. So there are tools where you can install to your own website, and you can run it by sending emails from your phone to this particular email address. Everything will happen.
And you set up the times that you want it on the different
Much more than that.
platforms?
Much more than that. Much more than that. So there are these tools. But before going down into digging what are the tools, we are at a higher level right now, trying to figure out how we can communicate our strengths here. That's right. Because I will not go and say, you know what, I am the good communicator. If my strength is communicator, I will not tell everybody I'm the good communicator. I'm the good communicator. Okay, I will look silly. People will not come to do business with me. Okay. So each one of you understand what social media, and it seems here you have so many. So how many accounts do you have roughly?
A lot. Because I look after two businesses, so I run all the accounts on each one, and I didn't put a line on there for constant contact. So yeah.
Wow. Okay. But how many?
Like I say,
how
they're
many
5 hours
platforms?
a week.
How many platforms do you have?
I use Buffer and constant
No,
contact.
how many platforms? Like you have Facebook, Twitter. How many social media
How
platforms?
many? 7?
You have 7 social media platforms. Somebody else has 7 similar? You have 5. And
Instagram.
Marcel said he has 7 or more. How many social medias out there?
What did you say, 105? Is that what we said?
I do have 152 accounts and 152 social media platforms. More than 5 to 6 hours a day, I sleep. Because there are ways to manage this, and there are ways to do what you want to do with it. Okay? So if I want to communicate through this social media, there are ways and there are setup. But all of you comfort with the concept of social media and understand what it is. In the very, very first workshop, Brand Mastery, there was individuals there because I didn't hear about social media. So in 3.5 years or so, we came a long way. Everybody right now understands social media. I'm so happy. And how many of you will have a website? And how many of you will have a WordPress website? Okay. And why do you use WordPress?
Because I have full control over the content.
I love it. User friendly. Very.
No, none of the above.
That's why I use
Google
it.
friendly.
So what we call, yeah, this is what it is. So what is WordPress mean? It's a content management system. They call them CMS. Okay. I know somebody has Joomla, and there are there is Drupal and there is a few others.
I use Clone, so which is open source.
Yeah, there are all of these tools. Which one is better than the other? All of them are the same. Which one should I take? Or which one should I use?
So what is it more comfortable with?
No, the one which will help me doing my business. Okay? Not the one I'm comfort with, not the one I know how to use, not the one I can learn, not the one I can use.
What makes it close to you present?
The one which will make you closer, the one which will fit the answer of the question which I did not ask. Okay? So there is a reason for that. How many of you have business cards? And how many of you exchange business cards? And how many of you see individuals who don't have business cards and they try to be the cool geeks in town and they do it electronically?
Yeah, they
And
have
then
the
do it
little.
electronically? They
I
send
I
you-
have that.
Oh, I see.
They want to just share with you electronically.
Yeah,
So do you really like that?
it takes up too much of my time.
This is your judgment of it.
I like it.
I'm not in a place where I'm gonna be pulling out my phone to be tapping against somebody else's phone so that I get their key code all the time.
I don't-
It's just that to me it wouldn't work.
I don't do the key codes, but what I do like is the applications you can have on your phone where you scan the business card and it turns it into content.
The application is
Oh,
different
yeah.
level. Like the application is different level. I'm looking into sorting out our thoughts into why we do things.
I do both.
So Mike will do both. We'll do this and we'll do also an electronic communication.
I've never had a business card.
Sorry?
I've never had a business card. I'd like them.
We will talk about that. We will talk about that. We will talk about that.
You still have the Rolex, do you?
No, I collect them and my business has been great. Hardbacker said this to me years ago at Twin Taylor. He says, "You've never had a business card his whole life. Most business cards go in the garbage.
Okay.
Most do.
Most do.
But what about that 5% of business
Exactly.
that you don't get?
Right? So I am the receiver of business cards, and I will guarantee that I will communicate with them immediately. Within 24 hours.
That's great. Like each one has the right to run their business in the way they run it. I'm not here to change any of the decisions you make around your business. I'm just here to share and challenge the way you do things. If you like the challenge and you want to change. And if you get the challenge and you don't want to change, it's up to you. Because there is a rule which I do in my life. Learn the rule and break it. That's it. Because once you learn the rule, you have the power of
Breaking it.
breaking. Can you break a rule which does not exist?
You don't know.
That's right. Or you don't know about, which doesn't exist. So, okay. So, if I want to communicate through any of these, how do I communicate? My strengths. I will not go and share that I'm just strong. I will not go and tell people like I'm the communicator. I can look at the different venues and use the proper tools. So for example, on my website, I can do posts. That's right. I can go to LinkedIn, and it used to be Pulse, and now they changed to something else called articles. I can go to Facebook and this stuff, and I can share enough information, enough stories, enough material which can show what my strengths. How do I know this material which will share my strengths? Very simple. I showed you the way. You pick up the strengths you have here. You pick up any material. You take a color and you point out where the word express your strengths. It's very simple. They call it copywriting. It's very simple. Okay, very simple.
And that's the same as if you want Google to see who you are when you are setting up your website. You use keywords that you know Google can understand.
And this is what they share with you, but I want to share it with you in a different way. Okay, so if we can put this as our brain a little bit, give it a break, and forget about Google AdWords, and it just came in like 5 minutes to time there. So the biggest question I got all the time: do I need to have a website for? Do you need to have a website for your business?
No.
Do you need to have a website for your business?
No.
No. Why you say no? That?
There's different modalities of means to communicate.
What is the reason for having a website?
Like your storefront. Credibility.
Information.
Convenience for people to go and look at and see who you are, what you do.
So every single people are saying these are valid reasons. That's right. So if I want to find you in town, how can I find you in town? In like 30 years ago. Phone book and Yellow Pages, right? Nowadays, when my mom's 76 years old, living in Alexandria, Egypt, which is my hometown, and she used Facebook, and she gave me a call. I saw an image from your cousin. Can you send it to me? Because she doesn't know how to handle Facebook. And she's using the phone all the time. The other day, I saw her active. It was like after midnight over there, so I called her up. Like, we don't have. Why you are not sleeping? She said, no, I slept, and then I waked up, so I said just to play a little bit with the Facebook. When somebody like that, at 76 years old, in a country where we don't have lots of high tech over there, what is the trend right now here? Everyone moving towards, not website, everyone moving towards this, what we call it, cyber space. That's right? You remember this word?
Mhm.
So, 30 years ago, if I want to come to Calgary and I want to find you, I will look into the phone book. If I don't find you in the phone book, what does it mean?
Yeah,
You know, it means you don't live in town. That's right. There was actually times that there was not even an option to be unlisted. Like there was time you cannot be even unlisted. When these phones came first in, everybody will be in the phone book. When I went in 2006 to Abu Dhabi, which is next to Dubai, they did have a phone books for the mobile phones. So there is a phone directory where every single mobile phone number is listed with a name and address. Okay? So the idea of a website is to be found. This is the whole reason. You want to be found. So if I wanna if I wanna find you, must have a website. Okay? So when everybody, like 90% of our population, is using cell phones and this new phone, which is very bad, I hate them as much as I hate so many other stuff. People are using them to browse and find information. People must find you online as well. The second question will be is, if you go stand by Sears, which is shut down right now, but we still use the example. So if you go in Sears appliances and you find this new burgundy or purple washer and dryer set, and you are shopping for a washer and dryer set, what is the very first things you will do about this new brand, which is purple washer and dryer, what your first things you will do?
Oh,
You will not buy it. You will, the studies show that within 2 minutes,
So behind.
80% of the people will basically search it online, or they use the word, they will Google it to find out more specification and where else is it cheaper. Okay?
Have to review that.
And get a review on it. So if people will search any new brand, do you expect your customers to search you? How many of you will actually search and look for information for some of their businesses before they come, like on Google or stuff? How many of us will go and Google coupons for promotions in stores before they go shopping? Okay, so people Googling very strange things. So having a website is a must. And the website, the reason for the website to exist is for what reason? Not for communication, not for anything else. It's for first things to be found. When I search you, I can find you. I meet lots of business coaches and lots of social media marketers, they call themselves, and they will tell you, you don't need to have a website. You can run all your business based on a Facebook page. I said, that's great. You know what? If I Google you and I cannot find you, what I will do? I will find somebody else. Okay? And if Facebook will close, how many of you believe that within 1 to 3 years, Facebook will shut down, or Facebook will drastically change their policy to be almost inactive?
Facebook right now has just lost a whole bunch of followers because of the way that they just changed the platform with regards to young children and being able to get on and see some things.
So, do you believe that within 1 to 3 years, Facebook may disappear? Or may have some restrictions to make it as if it's better not to have it? The answer is yes. Because with what's happening with our good friends in the south of the border, in Canada, Canada is the only place in the world when you say things can go south or will go south, it means good thing. Because what we have south, it's a higher exchange rate, it's a much more population, it's a higher, it's better opportunity to find jobs. That's right. We have the land of dream, which is the USA, south of Canada. So Canada is the only place where south of the Canada is a good place. Away from this joke, which you did laugh at it.
That's because we're the land of dreams, we're the land of action. Right?
Yeah. The point I want to say is, we cannot risk having our business under the mercy of Google or Twitter or LinkedIn. So when you can be for somewhere between $15 a year to $120 a year, have a reasonably attained or perceived website, and you say no, I don't want to do it. I want to do it on Facebook only page. How, do you expect me to pay you $50, $100 an hour for consultation? It doesn't make sense, right? So when we analyze how people perceive things and receive things and perceive and repeat and stuff, we found out this analogy. We found out every single business must have a website and must have more than one website. And for me, the renewal of like a couple of hundred URLs and 3 different hostings are coming soon, which basically few thousands of dollars has to be shipped to this. From legal standpoint, this is one also extra trade name engagement where it help you tell people that you own this particular business. Does it make sense? The following question also will be is, do you want to be on social media? Like, what make you on social media? Do you want to be on social media? Yes or no? Do you meet individuals who say we don't need social media or we don't want to do it? We meet them all the time. So do you have to be on social media? Yes or no? And why?
You don't have to be, but there's a lot
It's a
of
trend
business there
right
too.
To broaden your horizon.
It's actually the same reason. If your business is with retired individuals, 80 years plus, in retirement homes, do you need to be on social media? No? Are you sure?
I'd say, in my experience, no.
So how will I influence their great-grandsons and great-granddaughters to buy my service for them?
We'll see them.
The younger generation will be on social media.
All the millennials.
All the younger generation, the grandsons, the granddaughters will be on social media. Oh, so if their grandsons and granddaughters
Okay,
are
so-
making decisions,
We're talking personal then, as opposed to.
if you are
Oh,
only
I
serving them as a
see.
personal level and nobody else has influenced the decision, you don't need to be. But if you want to be where you can influence the decision for them to buy, you should consider reaching out from this area. Did you see this particular lift or stairs which take you all the way up and down when you be the one which they added to your home?
Oh, the stair lift.
The stair
Oh,
lift?
yeah.
Yeah.
This is advertising?
Yeah.
Why do you have to say it? Because we buy it for our parent and great grandparent and grandparent. We are the buyers, right? That's why they show it to us. So you should consider shifting your mind to figure out the tools that you have to be. The whole idea is to be found. Now, you mentioned AdWords and not AdWords. How many of you here is not familiar with AdWords or Google Analytics or any of this stuff which you don't like? Everybody's familiar and comfortable with these tools, understanding this language? Okay, that's great.
Like
This-
keywords and things like that?
yeah?
Okay. No?
So this is our tools where basically it will enhance when somebody searches some terms, you can show up because these are the keywords which will be relevant for people who are searching. Why do we consider that? Why do we need to invest in this area? Because we need to be found.
To be top of mind.
I don't agree to be top of mind. However, with a Google AdWord, but you can be top of mind by frequency of sharing. Like if you share every day or every week or every couple of hours, you'll be top of mind.
Well, when we were at the high school, they asked that, how many of the students were on Facebook and how many of the teachers. And the teachers, everybody was on Facebook, and the students was only about 10%.
And this is one point if your
Yeah.
customers or your clients are underage, that they are not allowed to have Facebook profiles. Like I have a 12 years old and he's playing online games all the time with everybody and he's shouting and like the time between dinner, back from school and dinner, I hear so many noises and so many other weird people talking to in my house. With this VR and he talks to people and stuff like that. But he's not allowed to have Facebook access or Twitter access. Because the online games, when they play in the cyberspace, are protected and they give us enough assurance that no intruders is there. No bad language, and they do right screening. And almost everybody in his classroom, after they go back to home, they will be in this platform. So he actually plays with his friends from the classroom, with the season in the morning. So when you target specific customers, you have to make sure you have the right tools for you to be. That's it. So don't overwhelm yourself. How many Twitter accounts? How many? Just you want to make sure you be found. I want to talk about one more thing, which I was not planning to talk about it, but you mentioned something very scary. You said you are doing 2 businesses. And when you do more than one business, you have to understand the risk around it. So if I wanna work, I explained a few things. I explained customers and I talked about clients. What's the difference between customers and the clients? Is there a difference, first of all?
It can be fun.
If it can be both, what's the difference now between the customer and the client?
The client is someone who comes, in my profession.
I love what you say. In your profession, it's in your own model. It's in your own understanding.
Yeah.
It's in your definition. It's great. Great starting. What's the difference?
Clients are services and customers are goods.
Exactly.
What do you mean for good?
Software, financial-
Products.
For products, selling your wares,
So
selling
what-
yourself.
What about what I'm planning on doing here? I'm looking at the library and the residents of Goodsbury and everyone as clients and customers and different people.
So the model I will share with you has few benefits. One of them is why first do you want to distinguish between a customer and a client? Why?
You shouldn't. They can both be the same. You're both going to be, if you bring them into your business, they're both going to have the possibility of buying your services.
The reason to distinguish these particular models and these particular stages, because the material you exchange with these individuals is different. Okay? So what I will share with you is a 13 stages model, which will show you from where people will not know anything about you to how they come back to buy your service. And the model is my own model. It's preparatory to what I do. If you don't like it, it's great. If you like it and you modify it, it's much better. If you don't like it at all, it's even much, much, much better. Just tell us what you do. Because if you don't have such a thing, it's a problem. And you know what the rule is. Know the rule and break it. So in my definition, there is a difference between a customer and a client. The difference between a customer and a client is that customers will pay you money. That's it. A client is somebody who will not pay you money and walk away with all the value. A question will be, if I exchange value, if somebody will come to my events and I go to help them in their events, there is a value exchange, right? So this is supposed to be a customer.
Like in kind.
It can be in kind, but it has value, it has money. What is the major piece of material, or what is the significant difference, or what is the different material between a customer which a client will not get? What is the piece of material which the customer will get and the client will not get? Invoice and receipts. Will you send an invoice or a receipt to a client?
Yeah, I do.
No. You send it only
Yeah.
to the customer. Because customers are people who are paying you money. So what is a client then? A client is defined as somebody who will get your service, your values, without paying a money. So why he will do that? Why we will do that?
If you go back to the stairlift, the grandparents get other clients, they get the service at the stairlift, and the parents
Or the insurance
they're good, social insurance
will,
pay for it. So
will pay the money.
they are the customer, and the grandparents are the clients.
Do you understand, guys? This is what he said.
That's good.
In the stair lift or in any service, if you go, who's buying the toys for the kids, for the newborn? And who's using the toy? And the grandparents, right? And a child, that's right? So this particular example demonstrates a very interesting concept that you can have users who we define them here as clients who don't have to pay money. And you can have customers who are paying money and maybe the customer is not using the product. For example, an insurance company. Will an insurance company use the medical service? No. Insurance company is only paying money. We as coaches or thought leaders or whatever you want to call us, we usually get people to have a free session, that's right? Or a low cost entry session, that's right? All of us doing that. This is our client. Do they get user manuals? Do they get workbooks? Do they get some material, handout, that's right? Do they get an invoice? No.
If they pay money,
If they pay money, they will become
A customer.
Completely different thing. Okay? Before,
So I don't really have any clients then.
yes, it may be legitimate that if you don't offer free things, you may deem yourself not having clients. However, if you have a podcast,
I do.
so people on the podcast assume to be,
They would be customers.
they will be clients.
Or clients, I mean.
If they
Yeah.
take your learning and they use it, right?
Yeah.
Before clients, we can have prospects and we can have leads. They used to call them suspects and prospects. Does a lead need to know my price list or how much will it cost? Why? Because it's far away from the payment point. So when you go in a business which based on value received and you reveal your prices early on, you are basically talking different language to these people. They are not expecting this. If you sell commodity stuff, it's acceptable. If you sell a book, the book is $20. So yeah, it's acceptable because people will not spend too much time here. But if you have a business or a service based where you get people to practice, to do one free session, one free month, one free retreat, one whatever, or low entry things, you have to understand this.
So how do you get the customer or the clients to become the customers?
Different story for tomorrow or after tomorrow. We are first here want to understand who are we communicating with because we want to map why do we need to have website and social media. So
What does that one be?
lead and prospects, and these are clients, and these are customers. Before that, we can classify them as target audience, as audience, and general. And when I put this model in front of people doing marketing, they say, yeah, general are girls 13 years old. No, it's not that. It's not that. It's much more detailed about who are you meeting and they are general to you. So what's the general to you? The general is somebody is not audience, is not listening, he doesn't know you. He can be your customer, but he doesn't know about you. Okay? And this is an area where we spend lots of time talking about what kind of material you will provide. On the other side of the money, you can have referral customers, return customers, and retired customers. Well, customers are retired. They are being a year ago they got my service, or 2 years. So this is our, I believe there are 13 class, if I'm not wrong, of audience which you will have to your own business. Okay? So this is our referral. They refer. This is our return. And this is our retired. Retired means they are no longer customers. So where is the website which part of this or of this section will a website connect to or will be an ultimate receiving or recipients of my website messages?
I'm thinking it can cover all of them.
My website can cover all of them, but not on a single page. My website can have different sections covering different parts. A general website without a membership package will target people in this area. That's why many of people who are doing business, they don't have prices in their website. If you do run an online system where people just automatically come and sign up to your website here, you will have a part of your website here. Okay? So when somebody approach you with any of these, you have to, I basically put this model back and say, okay, so what do I want to do? This is how we can see 80% of our business should run by staging people through these different models. Okay? Nothing wrong with having somebody just coming from the door, gut feeling, he likes you, he basically buy your service. Is there anything wrong with that? No. Okay? We see any challenges with this model, and there are people who say this is too much. You know what? This is for me as one group. As you said, I don't have client and customers as one group. It doesn't matter. What matters here is there are at least 5 levels of businesses. 5, where you must convey 5 different messages. Okay? Does it make sense? What is an example of a message for a retired customer? Yeah, a re-engagement, more coupons, whatever. What is the message for a referred customer? What is the message for a referred customer? You should give him, you should tell him or tell her, I want a referral. You should give them tools, and you must give them treat. This is we call it the 3T model. So if you ask somebody to refer you or to pass your contact over to somebody, you must give them a tool and a treat. What is the common tool we need to have? Business card. Just answering her. I'm just attacking Karen now, okay? So if I want to tell somebody, you please refer me, guys. So I give you, okay, here's my business card. Would you mind passing it over? And by the way, there's a seminar in the back. They can come and register for free. And you can also come as a friend, or we'll have a special treat for you or whatever. People will pass it over. So if your business is not based on or does not consider this level of referral, I'm perfectly fine if you don't need to have a business card. But always the question will be what will be the perception of somebody who say, okay, can I get your business card? Say, no, I don't have a business card. Will they feel you are in business?
Maybe they think you don't take it seriously.
Okay.
I don't tell anybody that I don't have it.
No, I understand. I'm just I understand.
No, it's like I just say I don't have any argument.
Yeah.
But I have yours. I refer right back to your
Yeah.
business card. I would love to find
Okay.
it.
I'm so glad you're here, Karen. If I would have me
The other thing also when we talk about this particular topics, what's your feedback when somebody will have their business name at gmail.com?
You haven't really made the entry into the professional world.
Are they committed?
Yes, I would think that.
Okay. So when somebody will go around with their business cards, and one of the sessions we used to run here, it used to be a business card session. We had like 30,000 business cards we bring on the table, and we tell each one around the table, okay, can you basically critique and give us feedback on what you don't like about these business cards? So if you would like to get people to know you, and you know that you have a business, you know your strengths, you must have the elements which make people feel and have the perception of you are established business. And please, if you don't have a business card and you want to do a business card, don't go to Vistaprint and pick up one of their templates. You never pick up one of their templates. If you want to go to Vistaprint, it's a very good price service. just use the blank one. Because I was in an event and John McDonald, one of my former partners, he has a specific template business card. And in the same exact event, we had like 40 people or 35 individuals. And you had at least 3 more having the same exact template.
Oops.
It was the same exact template.
That's like showing up with the same dress.
Exactly.
Actually, I love.
Wait, that's about it.
Oh.
Actually, I love this analogy. I love this analogy. It's exactly when you have 2 individuals coming with the same dress. Okay? So no Gmail account and no special template. If you would like to have your own template, if you like to have your own template, you can have your own template, which is unique to you. But don't grab somebody template, because you will always have the, when Murphy's laws happen? So you will have Murphy's law. Any question on this? Tomorrow and after tomorrow, we talk a little bit more about how we can connect this social media to emails and websites and why and what are the reasons and stuff like that. We can, I don't want to overwhelm you with all the information at once, because after this lunch, we shouldn't actually be working, okay? Why? Just too heavy. I can share also one story. Very first working group we had here, it was Saturday, and all of us went over to the actual restaurant, which is like 1 block away. And the lady really was so happy on this Saturday. She fed up very well. We paid and we came back, and everybody was just asleep. Okay. Any questions? Any general questions you have, guys? Okay. If you don't have any questions, wonderings, whatever. Okay. Okay. So we are, or you are here with Win Your Brand, and when I was getting to do a business, I did this exercise actually back then at the time, and I found really much my passion, which we'll explore tomorrow, and I end up doing what I'm doing 5 years ago. And when you do something and it really, when you practice an exercise and it really works well for you, I tend to go back and teach it, because it really transformed my life. It gave me different things. And the apple, the red apple wisdoms, right? Do you know the red apple wisdom? Wisdom? Yeah, do you know the wisdom of the red apple?
Mm-hmm.
You don't know? Who here likes red apple? Who here is okay with green apple? So in life, we know few things. In life, we know that there are people who will support us. That's right. These people will be like red apple. They will push us forward, and they will get us into what we like. And on the other hand, what is the opposite of this? The brown apple. So here we have the brown apple. What is a brown apple? It's a rotten apple. What a rotten apple will do in a box of apples?
Rot the other one.
Makes
The
them
other one's
more.
rotten faster.
That's right. It will rotten the other ones. Not even faster. It will simply rotten the other ones right away. So it's not faster. It's not. That's the spirit. That's right. And what about green apple? What about the green apple?
You're on your own.
They're a little bit sour, that's right. But they don't harm us, right? So if you have a choice in your life, which apples would you like to be with?
Red.
Green. Can't help it. I look at it. Gotta
And-
say green.
And it's not St. Patrick's Day, okay? I know, I got it, okay?
We're red twelve.
So the analogy and the story, and we have to do it in this way so you can memorize it. Red apple are people supporting me. Green apple are people in the middle. Yeah. They will not putting me back, but they can be around. And brown apple will be will build you back, will drag you down. People will not accept your idea. People, when they come and say, what I will do this? Oh, you know what, Karen, the mayor, you did so many things bad in your life, you've never been doing it, you've never been successful. Full stop, stop doing it. Don't even try. Don't bother, okay? We know you will not do it. This is our the problem. What's the percentage of brown apples you like to have in your life?
0.
0, right? So we would like to have 0% of the people around us to be
Robin.
brown apple. And how many of the surrounding we need to have who are supportive? We call it 90%. Because there are those who you cannot help it, which is 10%. Which is if you keep within this percentage, guys, you should achieve what you want to achieve. Because the power is inside you. You can keep doing things in a different way. Keep at it till it gets done. Do you know what's the definition of a failure? When will you fail? When you stop doing, when you quit, when you stop doing what you're doing. Because if you keep doing it in a different way, what will happen? You're still working on it. Nobody can classify you as failed. That's right? Does it make sense? So usually we do this exercise and you go to the next level. Can you list 5 names who can act as brown apples in your life? And by the end of the workshop, we'll tell you, you know what? If even they call you, just hang up. Okay? But we are not doing this. But there are some situations to apply this rule. It's fun to have it here, that's right. How do you apply it? Like if my mom, my dad, my brothers, my sisters are here,
I think you have to stay away from the brown.
you cannot stay away from your family. It's unfair for you. You basically stop talking about your passion to them.
Yes.
You have you select cautiously a different dialogue where you will only negotiate with these 2 people. You will share with these 2. I'm not telling you to hide from these people. I'm not telling you not to talk to these people. However, if they put you down, if they don't give you the energy, if they don't push you forward, you reduce the interaction with them to the minimal, legible, socially acceptable level.
Loving unconditional.
It can be. Because remember, with the 4 quadrant, what did we say? We cannot judge which quadrant, which is what you remember the 4 quadrant?
Right.
We cannot judge which one is right, which one is wrong. So we have to accept them, acknowledge them, but protect us from them. Okay?
So green was, they're neutral.
They are neutral. They will not suck
Support
your
or-
energy. Suck your energy is legitimate term, right?
That's a
Yeah,
good
that's
term.
Rick energy.
Okay. So they will not help you, but they will not put you back. Okay? The biggest question I have is, how do I know? Is not an honest advice. And this comes, yes, how do you know? How do you know when I tell you not to do these things? I'm not brown, I'm red. First of all, can I tell you not to do these things and I'll be red?
Yeah.
Can you give me an example?
Well, when you see the wrong corners, the other person doesn't see anything, and you can see that they're heading for a breakdown, you're supporting them by not helping them not make a mistake.
But how they will see it?
They will see that you're
A simple example, much simpler example. If I'm standing in the 52nd floor or 54th floor of the Bow building in town, Calgary, and I'm taking 2 steps to jump out of the building, and you tell me, no, don't do it, don't jump. You are a brilliant apple, because if I jump, I will die, okay? That's right? Okay, but I don't know. So we always see this example, and when you go to so many events, you see this example. The question is, how can I apply it?
How can what? Apply?
Apply this example. How can I apply the rule? Not surrounding myself with people who can harm me and my business.
Surround yourself by the people who are supporting you.
So how do you know they are supporting you?
Well, usually they come to your events or they register for your newsletter or your emails, they're past customers or clients, and they walk around with the business cards and go, hey, this person is really
So this we call this raving fans.
Yeah, okay.
So you can have raving fans, but how you can have advisors or somebody who give you an advice who are brown, and how can you identify? How you can identify they are brown?
How do you have them give you advice?
How when you get an advice, understand this is a brown advice or a red advice or a green advice.
Does it depend on the results you get? Based on it.
But if you have the result, it does not mean an advice. It means what? It means you apply it. Okay?
I'm not understanding your question.
Red apples don't necessarily taste sweet.
No.
That's what it's saying. It's saying that just because somebody gives you advice that you don't like doesn't mean that they're in brown or green. But they may be red, but you may not recognize it because you're expecting them to always pat you on the back. Whereas not giving them stuff is things.
Okay, okay.
And the question is, when somebody will give you an advice, how can I identify is it red, brown, or green?
Not very true.
No, but you cannot test an advice.
By how it helps you move forward.
If you help and move forward, it means you took their advice and you applied it. And what is the biggest challenge you have right now? If it does not work, you lost the money and you lost the time, which is the most valuable thing. So when somebody will give you an advice, you must qualify this advice to be red or green, not brown. How you can do that?
Yeah, I was talking different aspect that your friends will always tell you what you want to hear, and then green people will be better because they are neutral and they will give you honest advice.
This is a good analogy to it, but the question back is, if somebody will give you an advice, how do you know it's constructive or it's bad or is?
Do you run it through your own filter, your own filter?
If you run it through your own filter, means what? Means you know. So if you know, you can judge the advice. So if you know, will you ask for an advice? Most likely not.
No, to grow you ask for advice.
You ask who for advice?
I ask everybody for advice.
And this is what I want you to stop.
Ah.
This is what I want you guys to stop. You must tune your ear to only the credible people who did it more than one time. Because anybody's giving you advices, they can be any of these colors. They can be actually more distraction, and they can destroy your business because they give you advice they never applied in their life.
So ask for credentials.
Well, they've had results.
They've been there, done that.
Or, yeah, in my experience, this happened.
Yeah, that's
Or even if they haven't succeeded, you can learn from their failure.
right.
How do you know that they've got credible advice, but it might not apply to you and your business?
And this is one of the major challenges. This is one of the major
So
challenges.
how else can you qualify their
You must ask where and when they apply it and why they are telling you that. And you must do your due diligence. Because there are so many, like I was the other day in this meetup and almost all of them are accountants. I got sick of accountant after accountant after accountant.
Good Mike.
It's gone.
He knew this was
That's a
coming.
waste of time.
You know?
Zinger.
Which one of this accountant is good for me? It is the one I like, is the one is my friend,
One who gets the best bottom line.
or is the one who give me the cheapest price? Because there are so many people who go around and say, I'm looking for a cheap accountant. I saw it one time on Facebook. Somebody was saying, can you give me a recommendation for some cheap bookkeeping service? So I went back, I said, you know what? The first time you'll get an audit and you cannot locate the material, it will be the most expensive bookkeeping service ever you have. So not everything has to be cheap. Not everything. You should not consider the low and the cheap stuff around. You should consider the stuff which is pushing you forward. So you must qualify. You must see testimonials is a good example. Talking to people, referral. You must do your due diligence. Don't take an advice from everybody without making sure it's a read advice. Okay? Yeah, drive easy on the car, please. Yeah, drive safely.
We'll see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow. Okay?
Well, yeah, this is not only about asking advice, right? It's about who you surround yourself with.
Yes.
Could be friends, could be acquaintances, could be family.
Could be everything.
Could be everything.
Yeah. Yeah. So when you surround yourself, and we in law of attraction and positive energy and the energy healings talk about this a lot. We come and say, if you want to be happy and always have a joy in your life, surround yourself with girlfriends or boyfriends or friends or partners who are happy, right? How many of you remember when you walk downtown or you go back to your building and your business and there is a funeral there? How many of you will feel like everybody is actually sorrow? Everybody is like feeling bad, right? Everybody's feeling down, right? If you have high energy and you go to some place where people feeling down, will you feel high? No. We mirror our surroundings. So this can go back to so many things. And for the lack of the time, I'm sharing with you a few concepts because we spend lots of time on these concepts and we apply them. We only pick up advice, we only listen to not people we trust, people who can help us. Is there something called free advice?
Yeah.
No.
But does it ever?
No,
pile
there is
again?
nothing called free advice. There is no free. Anyone will give you a free advice is not accountable for it. If you want to get people to be accountable for it and put their names there, like people will come to us and we usually don't do people websites. I hate doing anybody website. However, if somebody will really convince us for a reason to take over a complete project of doing their website, you will find Win Your Brand link inside their website. I don't just develop your own website and leave it on your own. I will go somewhere where you have the copyright. This website is proudly designed by Win Your Brand, www.winyourbrand.com, and I will leave it there. Because I have to be proud of what I give you. If somebody will come and say, okay, I'll do your website for $500. 500 is the cheapest price now, or is much cheaper right now? A decent website, sorry? No, there are people who are doing 500 per website.
They can get them from Costa Rica.
Okay. A decent website will cost between $30,000 to $50,000, and if your website will have a membership management tools, it can reach $100,000. This is what Microsoft and these big companies paid for their websites. Much more than that. So if somebody will convince that $500 website will do the job, it will not do the job. So you have to be careful of free. You have to be able to qualify advices. Because a wrong advice, there is nothing wrong. An advice which you need corrections, what will happen? You will learn after some time that this advice was not the right advice. Well, it will be too late, my dear. Okay? Agree?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, go ahead. Speak
Well,
on
the interesting thing about that concept is that, I was always brought up, my father was an entrepreneur, his father was an entrepreneur, and they always said to me, when I was being brought up, was, takes money to make money.
Yeah.
You have to be willing to pay,
You have to be willing to invest, not
Yes.
to pay.
Yeah.
To invest.
invest.
I showed you, we talked about an example here of the university educational system, and this is what people do. People will invest 4 years in their kids for money that the kids will not cover, will not recover within 10 years. Okay? And I have a personal story there. When I had my high school degree from overseas, we had a fellow with us who got 50%. He will not go to any of the schools, any of the universities. In my country, my home country, you are either a doctor or an engineer, or with the others. Stop. Although this country is ruled by presidents who came from military background, which is the others. All the ministers, except of 2 ministers, from the others. All people who are ruling and running businesses are from the others. But in our time, back in 80s, this is what our time is. Either an engineer or a doctor or with the others. So this fellow could not go to the engineering school, he could not go to the medical school, and he wanted to go to a private school.
Which?
He went to go to a private school, a private university. So his dad came to him and said, I'm not paying 250,000 Egyptian pounds for you for 5 years of education. You go with the others. Time went by and I disconnect from him and I got my bachelor, my master's, and I went to do my PhD. And so happy coming back. I have a scholarship and I'm doing my PhD in the US and everybody was happy. And then somehow I got connected to him. So he invited me to his house. He had a wife, he has 2 daughters. He has this unique agency where he repairs and he sells boats, which is refrigerators. Because he went to this institute, he learned how to build refrigerators. He went to Italy for a year, he mastered this, and he came and he had the agency to build refrigerators in a coastal city. He was the only one. So I had my happiness of having a scholarship, and this guy was driving his Mercedes. And he go to his villas. And we were about 7 years after high school, about 8 years after high school. Is he wrong? Is me wrong? I don't know. Okay? So there are people who can do things very strange way and push you, and people who oppose you from doing anything. It takes money to make money. It takes investment. It takes a wise decision. It takes sometimes such a decision. A right decision to launch a product in the right time, you can sell. You cannot sell snow boots in summer. That's right. So sometimes it's not only money, but sometimes it's just when you do stuff and when you have a best. So please tune your ear to the proper people who can help you moving forward. Will you take advice on your business from your grandma if she's still alive? Will you take an advice about your business from her? Will you get her opinion on your Facebook profile? Most likely not.
Oh no.
She is good.
She was honest.
Okay. Okay. Any questions? One more thing we forgot to do it in the morning. So who is here like to be understand the concept of winning? What is the winning concept?
For five you're better staff.
Yeah, I wish I had this in the morning. Okay, so let's just talk about the winning concept. So you said 2 quarters. I'm saying like, when do you think I'm winning or you are winning as a person? Like our business is when your brand. So when will you win?
Both parties get a benefit out of it.
There is no post parties, only you. So what is the winning concept?
Once you've achieved it. That's the thing.
I know because you attend this course several times, man. So the concept, the difference between success and win. Do you know success? What's the definition of success as a concept?
When you're contributing your first gift to the world.
It is a success. So what is the win?
to me, it's people earn a profit is my whole motto in regards to winning. For everybody that is in business is the same
So the concept of winning, when we came up with this concept, we say you have to define your winning, and when you define this stage and you achieve it, this is exactly when you consider yourself a winner. So nobody will win in his life without a plan. Plan tailored toward the goal. Okay? Does it make sense? You're so quiet right now. Is this the food impact?
I got a feeling you're going somewhere where you're not there yet.
So no, I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere. So this is the goal, which is what we said. Like when we said win your brand, when people build a brand and they achieve the goal with this brand. This is a reason for me to name this business Win Your Brand. Okay? So the difference between success and winning, in the winning mode, you have to define what's your win. What's in it for me? Okay? With our concept, we usually have this particular motivational card because now winning will be what? Will be a mindset. That's right? That's right? So how you can impact a mindset?
How you impact it.
Yes, how you can change your mindset, how you can impact your mindset that you are on the winning path.
Doing the work, putting it out there.
Okay, that's right. So it's something from inside. So in our design, we have these cards, and this is one of the activities which went blended because we start late. So, but I still want to do it. So I would rather each one of you guys would pick up a card. You can pick up any card.
It's a tarot card.
It's the 8 of hearts.
Yeah, and
Yeah. Psychomobility.
okay. Can you read this quote on it? You don't have your glasses.
You can have mine.
There's no scare, no land to scare.
It's two things. You either choose to take risks through storms and win after the hail, or you remain idle and die idle.
What does it mean to you?
It means that winning is the best strategy.
Can someone reflect on this quote in a different way?
Sorry. It's two things. You either choose to take risks through storms and win after the hail, or you remain idle and die idle. Perseverance.
It's about
Fight or fight.
Yeah,
no pain, no gain. Well, it's kind of like that, but we always going to gravitate to its easy way out, the shortcut.
The road is tough.
You see, there are three different feedback from the table in a different way. Different. Okay. Do you wanna contribute your quote?
My quote?
Yeah.
Games are lost and won in your mind as much as they are on the field.
What does it mean?
That you can have the same wins and losses within yourself that you can outside of yourself.
our mind is our worst enemy because it challenges us to look at things again and again and again. And if we don't stay focused on what our intention is or what our plan is or what our win is, the mind can say, you're not worthy, you can't do that. It can chatter us into a place of,
And this just one quote, right? What can you relate to this quote?
Mm-hmm.
The mind can be a red apple or a brown apple.
Right.
Yeah.
So what about you, Shamir? What quote do you have?
Competition.
I got leaders live by choice, not by accident.
Say what?
Leaders live by choice, not by accident.
Can you relate to it?
I suppose, yeah.
What does it mean?
It means that the choices you make reflect your leadership level, and so it's almost like if I happen to do something and it accidentally turns me into a leader, it's not consistent. But if I'm making conscious choices to lead in a certain way, then that's the choice I'm making every time.
I read it from different perspectives. This particular one, because
But you
leaders.
put it here, so obviously.
Sorry, no. This particular one. There are some of them are close to my heart. There are 60 here, and we sell the whole back. However, away from that, but there are some of them are close to my heart. This one here is you have the choice to be a leader. You cannot be by accident a leader. You are the one who has to step out from your comfort zone and lead with your actions, with what you do, and go through. You are not accidentally being there to run the whole show. This is how I take this particular quote. You want to share with us?
Sure. Focus all of your life energy to whatever goal you set yourself to achieve. So I would say, believe it, think it, and it will come to you.
Awesome. I love it. I love this one. Derek, do you want to share? From the back, I don't know.
Don't fear defeat, expect victory.
Say that again.
Don't fear defeat, expect victory.
Maintain a positive attitude in whatever you do.
Ahmed, you want to share one?
Yeah, it's better to have your own plan to make it happen than something is going to happen in the other.
I wish I can record you and play you back to Roya because she doesn't. She just wants to play on her iPhone. So. Mariana, you wanna share?
An insincere critic of a sincere person never wins. So it's the brown apple criticizing.
Criticism is not a brown apple. Criticism can be very red.
But it is not sincere.
Read it again, Mariana, please.
An insincere critic of a sincere person never wins.
Okay. Marcel, you wanna?
Yeah, the same one. Focus all your life and do to whatever goal you set
What?
yourself to achieve.
There's an application here.
Yeah. It's
Wow.
the only one. That's why I
Oh, man. Okay.
How many cards,
So,
how many cards in there? Just
No, there are 60 different quotes.
Well, 59 now.
When you first gave me mine, I thought you were being funny because I thought mine was order more toys.
Okay, I will count. Ma'am, do you want to share yours?
It's funny. As soon as I read this, I thought of Shamir. Is all you need to win is a winning attitude.
And winning attitude is the difference between winners and losers. Because if you always win, even if you lose material and lose any relationship you have, but you position yourself in the winning side, you will always win. Just winning for it.
Something that somebody mentioned to me before. It's kind of, I have this trigger. And I'm wondering why you took it in front of me, but this is true to my heart. Is I always had a fear of failure, and that's what motivated me to overcome all risks, like take care of all risks. So somebody once said, you should not be fearful of failing. You should have passion for winning, which is the other side of that coin. And so she really kind of helped me look at that differently. She was my red apple, I guess. But that's what this is. Don't use as a winning attitude. It's not a fear of failure. But on the other side, it's a winning attitude. It's quite powerful.
Yep,
Really
it's,
is.
yeah.
Different motivation.
Claudia?
Before you can win, you must begin. That is so true. So if I began 50 years ago, 40 years ago, I gotta be
You
a
were only
winner.
born then.
Right? Oh yeah. I just look young to my Before you can win, you must begin. I'm a winner.
That goes back
That's
to
what
your
that
flip-
means to me.
That goes back to your flip chart, where it says like you have to apply.
Yep. You have to take action.
Information.
You have to take action. You have to start doing it. So
You don't have time to have German precision on this thing before you begin. We have this conversation.
and you know the one which talk about focus? You know the one which talk about focus? This one is very important because when we go to these workshops, when you come guys here, I appreciate you came here and no matter you are, which level you are, it doesn't matter. Like for me, and if you spend this time, I always feel like obligated to pay you back more learning and more things you can apply to your business and your life, which will exceed more than 100 times the investment of your time here. Because I only value time. I don't value money. So many of like some people will come here and they have these businesses running in their heads. And when we come and say, guys, please turn off your phones and turn off your cell phone, not disturb. People will feel like we say so, which we did not say this time, because we want to take them away from their life. If you want to focus to win, like, can you repeat your one?
Sure. Focus all of your life energy to whatever goal you set yourself to achieve.
You see? Whatever goal. Like, I go to people and say, what you want to do? Yeah, I want to talk to you. I know about you in the community. I want you to help me building this business. Great. Call me when you have time. Do you want to, first I start, do you want to talk now? Oh, no, I'm busy. Okay. What about next week? Oh, you know what? Next week I'm going to Edmonton. I say, okay, when you come back to town, call me. I will sit with you and I will show you what we can do for business and how we evaluate them. And if you want to join my program or hire me, I'm available and stuff. But usually you let people to value what they are getting first, okay? 6 months later, they will have this Egyptian community, whatever place, whatever, you know. We go, how are you doing? Oh, great, I see you again. Okay, what happened? I want to build a business. I want to start again. And you know what? I wasted all these 6 months. Okay, that's great. After the work, after the event, do you want to meet tomorrow? Oh, no, I'm busy. I have, okay. What about next weekend, guys? No, you know what? I'm going somewhere. I say, okay, here's my business card again. Oh, I have it. No, just keep this card with you, my friend. Call me whenever you feel you are ready for me to talk to you. Great. We go 3, 4, 6, 9 months, maybe a year later, I meet the same guy in the same place, in the same community event. How are you doing? Great. Oh, I'm happy to see you again. Don't talk to me about your business. You know, this time I'm very serious. You know what? I have been wasting all these last 2 years. I never listened to you, which is my mistake. How many of our friends and our relations and maybe us doing the same thing wants to do something and keep talking about it, not doing it? How many of, do you know anybody like that? Do you know yourself like that? Okay. Why are we like that? One of the reasons for me, which I my own conclusion, don't quote me on it, that when we started as a human being long time ago, we used to sit around fires and do what? Tell stories. So we keep going telling stories. So we like to talk the story about us starting to do things or wants to do things, but we never take the extra step to do it. So when people come to these events, they come so engaged with their businesses, with their phones, with their families, which is great. Don't get me wrong, like I have to call, but I have to call in the breaks. I leave my phone on, I left it in my office, I leave it here because people can call me, can leave me messages, but when I go in the break, I have to respond to them. But people don't expect me to be all the time online, except when you have somebody doing delivery in the hospital. somebody expecting a newborn, this is the only moment where you are allowed to keep your phone on. Other than that, if there's any serious business out there which need you for the 2 hours engagement here per session or 1.5 hours. Yes or no? Most likely no. So when you don't focus your energy on what you do, and if somebody say, oh, you know what, I have all of this, great. Give it 20% and focus 80% on your business or your goal or your energy. You will start to see results. You may see results which will tell you you should not do this business, okay? You may see results which will tell you what you are doing is not the right course of action, which is great. And you will see results which will show you what did you do and take steps is very useful. Do you agree? Okay. Any questions? So I will leave you with this card. I will give you 10 minutes break.
Copyright 2017 Win Your Brand. All rights reserved. This video is subject to copyright owned by Win Your Brand. Any reproduction or republication of all or part of this video is expressly prohibited, unless Win Your Brand has explicitly granted its prior written consent. All other rights reserved.